Okay, well, I kind of have a call him out here, and I actually need a little bit of help because my wife has this new idea that I am not feeling, and I really need to try to figure out how to persuade her not to do this. And it took a little bit of the weekend for me to realize that by yesterday, after she had talked about it for a good 48 hours, she's not kidding. Like, this is a serious thing that she's looking to do. And I tried to explain, gently why I'm like, okay, well, I'm not sure that's a great idea because she now is determined that she is going to step up and go with a full-on neck tattoo.
Oh, we're going this way.
Yeah.
Full on. Are we talking the front or just the back?
There were discussions about front, side, back. I mean, it could be pronounced. I don't know exactly how big it's going to be, but my wife was recruiting my daughter Caitlin, who, they both are like, that's their kinship, is getting tattoos together, but they're running out of body space. And so now we're talking neck, and I was like, hey, the only thing is I know, for your jobs and other jobs, some places still people have that little tattoo hang up. And,
there will be judgment.
Yeah. And, hey, look, I mean, and she's the kind of person, she doesn't care about judgment. So that's why it's hard to tell her about the judgment thing because she doesn't care, and good for you. That's great.
And turtlenecks, they are awesome. Just it does get a little hot in the summertime.
And that's
Florida turtleneck.
kind of where I was. I'm like, well, to me, that would be the biggest thing is, possible employers that you might have some issues with that. And then look, I'm okay with her having her tattoos. It makes her happy and she likes it. I'm not personally a tattoo guy. I've got none of them. I know a lot of people love them. They find them very attractive, and I'm okay. It doesn't detract. But now we're starting to get into the neck area, and I think I have different feels on that.
Well, I've been through this because Panda has a neck tat, and I don't like it.
His is what, behind his ear?
Yeah.
Okay, this I think is going to be a lot more front and center, and
It's a rattlesnake.
My daughter my daughter had a photo that she had seen on Instagram, and the girl it was maybe a butterfly and the wings were opening up around the front of her neck. Like it would be something that...
We're going the bow tie style around the neck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It's not like what Panda has. Panda is arguably a subtle.
It's
And even though you say neck tat, it's really kind of like a behind the ear neck tattoo. We're not talking that. We're talking front center. Like a lot of times I see Panda, it doesn't even, he's got a neck tat now.
Yeah, this is full on look at my neck because I have a neck tat.
Yeah, this is it. This is the big dog.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work through it. I'm trying to be like, gosh, so I went with the whole, hey, it's going to be limiting, for what you want to do. And, I know, hey, where you are now might have a problem with it or, your line of work. Already when some of her students see the tattoo she does have, they asked if she's done prison time. Well, she hasn't, but, you will get those kind of questions. I mean, it's still, if the young kids are still picking up on some tattoo stigmas, I guess it's still out there. And, a lot of people do. In fact, BuzzFeed just did this thing on what do we find attractive, and 77% of people that they polled, at least, think that tattoos are a turn on.
Yeah, you got to start listening to BuzzFeed.
So I know there are very passionate people in the tattoo community. And honestly, I am on the side where I feel like, hey, I wouldn't judge anybody by their tattoos. I think they're more commonplace. Good for you. Do whatever you want to do. It wouldn't affect me necessarily. But we did have this conversation that if you were getting brain surgery and your surgeon had a face tattoo, how would you feel? Would you feel less confidence in his ability to really crush that brain surgery?
Me and you are at the bar having a drink, and it's just now kicking in. You got a buzz, and I go, honestly, Kev, do you really want the queen to get a neck tat? What do you say?
No. And I haven't told her. I've just brought up the other thoughts to it. I haven't told her a definite no yet. And because I don't know how persuasive the no would be. It would just be like, okay. All right.
I don't know if you get to say no.
No.
You might want to go the other way and get into it. Go, oh, that'd be great, babe.
That's why I was asking, because this might call for some kind of weird reverse psychology or a way to steer her. This is usually what it is with my wife, because if you come at her with defiance, she bows up and doubles down. That's just the way she's wired. So it always takes reverse or weird psychology to back her out of some of these kooky ideas.
Your best strategy might just to be ignore, and maybe, oh, that's cool, and then back out. That might be your best strategy, because you're right. If you get all mad, she's going to have a neck tat, and it will be of a cobra.
Right.
It'll be something over the top.
size that will probably correspond to my level of anger. And
It'll be a
frustration.
cobra with your face on it.
I mean, okay. All right.
It'll be a cobra but for eyes, it'll be two skulls. It'll be intense. You don't
Yeah.
want this.
Yeah,
I'd go with the flow.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody has any ideas, if you've ever had to try to work reverse psychology with your partner where, hey, look, and I am from that school that I believe however you want to wear your hair, your clothes, whatever, that's all up to you. I think you need to be an individual.
But we all do agree the more Kevin fights this, the more likely it will happen.
Yeah, I think reverse psychology is definitely needed here.
The only other thing that I thought is she typically is one of those people that has to have a project. And so she always likes to be focusing and talking about and researching something that she's doing. And so my only other thought is if I could get her distracted with another pet project, then maybe she'll forget that she wants a neck tattoo.
You might want to also see if you can bribe Caitlin to be on Team Kevin and maybe dissuade her from the neck tat, but do it in a way that it's subtle and Kim doesn't realize that you have paid off Caitlin.
Well, the only problem is I think Caitlin's all into it, so I don't.
Kevin's fighting a really tough battle here, because this is what we're very.
That's what's crushing it. Yeah, if I had Caitlin that would think that that's a little too radical, then
Everybody's
that'd
got
be
a
easy.
price. Caitlin's got a price. You may have to pay. You may have to buy some Gucci shoes or something.
I just know if
Lord.
there's even one sense of it gets a rise out of Dad or Kev.
Yeah.
Dad's upset. We like this.
The
Right.
chance of a neck tat goes up, in my opinion, at least 40%.
You might be right. Yeah, that's why
You gotta play this one smooth, Ralston.
Yeah, that's why any little guidance that anybody has, if you are a psychologist or if you just tried to manipulate your spouse, how do you do it?
And I hear what you're saying, and you're being kind and sweet when you do the whole, everyone can cut their hair the way they want and do the tat. But when you are married and you go intense, something as intense as a neck tat, again, not a knock on the neck community, the neck tat community, but isn't that kind of a thing where in most marriages this would cause some contention?
Well, and I think some people probably would have a different stance and approach it differently than I do. And I am fine with the tattoos and the sleeves and all that stuff looks good. It just, I think you get to a different level when you start going neck face tat. I think you've now reached, it's just, and maybe I'm wrong with this, but it just seems it's a whole different.
It is. You're not wrong. You're not a tattoo guy. So I think just for you to be able to be okay with the tattoos, period, is huge, I think. And then once you go up on the neck, it is a different level.
I think you're
Yeah.
afraid to sound judgy towards people with neck tattoos, and we're not being judgy. But you were married to the queen, and she never had tattoos, and now all of a sudden she's going full ink on the neck.
Oh, yeah, the last
you
5
have a right
years
to
has just
You have a
been-
right to have an opinion on that, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. And, where we are now, she can still pretty much cover up. And, when you see her out, you wouldn't necessarily know that she's got as many tattoos as she does.
Of course, you're not gonna. I mean, if she wants a neck tattoo, she's gonna get a neck tattoo.
Right.
You're not gonna stop that.
Right.
But I think when you're married, you should be allowed to at least talk about.
Yeah,
your-
how do I trip up her determination and get her backed out? And I think probably another side project is probably it. I just gotta try to
what
figure out
can
what that
we
is.
get her to
It's kind of like the shiny object over here. She really does have kind of like an ADD when it comes to kooky ideas.
You're just not crazy to have questions and have thoughts. Is all I'm just trying to make you
Okay,
feel
thank you. Yeah,
better.
yeah.
You're not crazy to have thoughts about this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you've got any thoughts on what I could do here, I would appreciate it because I got to really formulate a game plan because after 48 hours of continual discussion about it over this weekend, I'm like, I think this is going to be a real thing.
Oh, the longer it goes.
And it seems
Coming in hot.
And it's got a feeling like it's quick. Like it could be next weekend.
well, you're
kinda
talking
quick.
about a full-on
Yeah.
front row seat
Yeah.
neck tat.
Yeah.
for Kev?
Yeah, well, Caitlin was, I guess, considering it, and then she talked to a girl, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting a full-on neck tat, and I'm taking it all the way down my breastplate." And Caitlin's like, "This is a sign from God." I'm like, "I don't know. Does God do tattoo signs?" So she thinks it's like an omen. Like this now has to happen. Like the gods have spoken. So I know that's where we are. 877-979-WRMF.
Someone's saying, because you're talking about it on the air, this isn't so subtle, but I think sometimes you kind of work it out better on the air.
It's a cry for help,
It
y'all.
really
It is,
is. This is a
'cause
cry for. Who's he going to go to?
I was left scratching my head. I'm like, I don't know how to.
Who's he gonna go?
He's a man who knows he needs help.
I
This is
need
why
help.
he's bringing this
When
up.
you need help, you ask your friends.
I don't know how to sidestep on this.
Well, you can't bring it to the house.
No, I can't. I'm losing there. I mean, I've already lost. That battle is lost. That's gone. That battle is lost and gone. In the home, I'm completely outnumbered. It's happening. So what can I do to make it not happen?
Kevin, I just think you need to drink more.
Oh, geez. I don't know if I can, Virginia.